Alright, we are 5 minutes out of the dock and sailing into a squall already. Don't know if the motor is going to work anymore. This is like a proper sailing adventure. And we are once again solo. This bad weather is moving towards this way, and it's kind of opening up. We even got a rainbow over here, so I put the mainsail and the jib all the way out. We're on our way. I think it's going to be about a 7-day passage if we go straight to North Carolina. We might stop along the way, just kind of got to play it by ear. Oh, come on now. I'm kind of missing Zoe a little bit already. Gotta relearn how to do all this stuff myself, but it's coming back to me. I think by the second day I'll be happy to be out alone again. Sometimes it takes a day to get in the groove of things when you're solo sailing or, just on a passage in general. The first day or two are always a little bit rough. Tripping over things, getting your sea legs back. This will be the longest passage since I was in Hawaii, I think. All right, goodbye Key West. So I'll still have internet for the first 3 or 4 miles. So this is the point where I frantically go on the internet and download as much stuff as I can. Get some new music and videos and some more books to read. And to add a little more excitement with this little bilge pump, touch it the wrong way, it just falls apart and water shoots everywhere. That wasn't as dramatic as it usually is. My batteries are down to 11.3 volts, so I think I might have killed those too. Hopefully we have some sun and I can slow charge things. Definitely no refrigeration on this passage, unfortunately. Just the way it goes. Break stuff, break stuff, break stuff, breaks. Oh, looks like we have a squall coming at us too. Some real nasty ones over here, but then this little guy here. Let's see how high he's developed. So the squall actually finally got us. Just looks like the edge of it, but still got pretty windy and it's raining pretty hard out there. So I opted to just put the sails away and go down below and wait it out. They never seem to last more than, maybe an hour at the most, with a couple coming through, but individually they're only maybe 10-15 minutes long usually. Pretty good lightning show though out the port lights. I can also hear the dolphins swimming all around us. Can't see them, but the stars are pretty nice tonight. No moon. All right, day number 2 on this passage up to the Carolinas. Slept real good last night. Making really great progress. We're definitely in the Gulf Stream. We're doing 5 knots, even though it feels like we're doing maybe 3. So really good current going with us. We got a squall coming in. So I reefed the jib a little bit, furled that up just in case things get nasty. Leave the full main up until I need to put it down because that's pretty easy to put down. Hopefully it'll be another good sailing day. We're heading out kind of towards the Bahamas and then we might have to attack to stay in the Gulf Stream. Some company on Instagram sent me this cup holder thing. Look at it. Looks like it might be kind of useful. I was thinking I could mount it on the dinghy, But actually I don't have any cup holders on the inside. Mount that right here. I think, yeah, that's pretty neat. I'll put the link in the description if you're interested. It kind of sticks out a little far. I feel like I'll probably knock it off. The wind shifted and I took advantage of that and tacked, and it's really helping us out. We are just going to clear Key Largo on this tack, if it holds up anyway, and we're doing 6.5 knots right in the middle of the Gulf Stream. Waves have been kind of building up a little bit as we work our way further offshore. I'm kind of happy I don't have to deal with towing the dinghy anymore, but I don't know, it's a little funny. I kind of miss seeing that little guy kind of just bouncing around back there. But I think this is better to have it on the front, definitely more secure.
Here you can see where we left from at Key West.
And then down here you can see the wind shifted and pushed us southeast, which made a great time to tack to the northeast. We got a little cell service as we got near Key Largo, so let's give this alternator a try, so I'll be there when we get there. Here's a little visual of what the Gulf Stream might be doing. It's from windy.com and the current speeds are never anywhere near correct. We caught a fish! Hi, buddy. We are doing a pretty consistent 8 knots right now. It's pretty incredible how fast the Gulf Stream pushes you. The Gulf Stream is my new favorite thing, man. The bioluminescence is really cool tonight. You can see it like sparkling in our wake. Unfortunately, I'm kind of close to shore right now, so I gotta keep my my kind of frequent watches to make sure I'm not gonna run into anything or anyone. So I'm doing like 10-minute watches. The minute I close my eyes, I start dreaming. Oh, we just hit this giant log. That was a really weird feeling. Like, whoa, just like boom, boom, boom. No big deal. Glad we weren't going faster. We're on a flimsier boat. I just found a jar of pickles. This is an exciting day. Still good. So far, we really had ideal, get you out of the wind, conditions for this passage. With the winds kind of out of the east. If they did go out of the north, though, they would be countering the Gulf Stream, which would make it just completely unsaleable if it got above 15 knots probably. Like the waves would just get way too steep and close together right here. Let's look up, and the boat speed through the water had picked up quite a bit because the wind had increased, but our GPS speed had slowed down. So I think we were kind of heading a little bit too far east, getting out of the Gulf Stream. Even though we were kind of still pointed right to our destination, I opted to ease the sails a little bit and bear off a little bit so we could continue heading north, try to stay in the Gulf Stream longer. And that really boosted our speed up. Now we're doing like 8.5 to 9 knots. I'm really hoping this pays off. If we can stay in the Gulf Stream, it will be worth it to do a little bit longer route because, again, these speeds are just incredible. It's interesting. SpaceX boats, maybe? Looks like MS Chief. Can't really read the name. 2 of them. Huh. Kind of close to me. I used to see one of those boats in the port of Los Angeles. I think it was called like Mr. Steven or something. And those big nets, they're like supposed to catch the rocket parts when they fall off. The waters are really neat, deep blue color today. I saw a few fishes earlier swimming underneath the boat. I don't see them anymore. Everything's kind of covered in salt because it hasn't rained in a while. Winds have gotten pretty light. I kind of like to go for a swim, but we're still moving just a little faster than I feel comfortable with the sails up anyway. But if it dies completely, maybe I'll drop the sails and I'll go for a swim. We finally got like a real kind of starting to get into kind of a swell, ocean swell. It's pretty small, but if we do put the sails down, the boat's gonna be rocking pretty far. All right, we're hardly moving. I hove to, threw out a fender on a rope just in case, and I'm gonna go for a swim. good. Nothing like swimming alone offshore. The wind died completely. I dropped the sails because they were flapping around a lot, which that really made us start rocking pretty good. Looks like there might be a little bit of a squall up there or something. Maybe that'll make some wind if that gets to us. So it looks like I'm just gonna scoot by this little squall. It's creating a good amount of wind for us. I only put out this sail because I'm afraid wind just might go away. And it's a big container ship. I've been really surprised at how many ships I've seen out here on this passage. I'm about 75 miles offshore right now. These ships are giant. Well, looks like we got the squall anyway. It's pretty windy out there. I pulled the jib almost all the way in. Jeez. I need to close these doors now. So when it rains hard, I always have a pretty good leak here, and then sometimes on the other side too, or somewhere in here. If anyone has any good ways of fixing that, I guess it's on the other side of it where it's leaking. It's just kind of annoying because it always drips in your face when you're laying in the bunks. Some type of Navy ship, looks like. That's not good. Batteries are only down to 9 volts. So I think just one of the batteries is bad. I disconnected this one, and now this one's starting to come back to life. All right, I was able to get the motor going, and it looks like maybe the alternator isn't bad. I think maybe it was just the battery that was like causing it to freak out, because now it's charging, none of that weird smell. Yeah, so we'll see how far we can go. I've got plenty of fuel. I just filled up, so I got, let's see, I got 6 plus 5. I got 11 gallons of fuel. So I could motor all the way there if I needed to. It looks like there's not going to be any wind until Wednesday. At least that's what the forecast says. It's just supposed to get lighter and lighter and lighter, and there's already none right now. But if we get some wind, I'll put the sails up. Otherwise, I'll just use this as an excuse to, I don't know, charge up the battery with the alternator, since the solar's, we're not getting much sun right now. I'm finally getting kind of in the groove of being a little bit more productive on this passage now. It takes me a few days before I actually want to start doing stuff, but today I'm going to hardwire the fridge in. I've been kind of lazy about doing this. It needed to be done. Like I've said before, like these connectors are really no good in the salt water. You can see there's so much rust in here, and this had corroded. It actually started to melt the connector. It got so hot. It will have a fuse. And I'm also using slightly thicker wire, which I think there's a little bit of a voltage drop with this. The wire it came with is really long, and not sure, it's 16 gauge. This is 10 gauge I'm gonna replace it with. These fridges have like a low battery alarm thing, and then they shut off. But sometimes it comes on prematurely even though the batteries are charged, and that is because the voltage the fridge sees it drops because the cable runs too long and the wires are too small. Okay, this is spliced up, and then I just wired this into this switch right here. So I got my fridge, trying to label everything. This is I'm gonna need to replace all this panel and everything and a lot of the wiring, I think, eventually. But this will work for now. And then electronic autopilot, it gives me an error once the boat pitches or rolls beyond a certain degree, and then it just kind of cuts out. So I'm having a hand steer. It's kind of a bummer. riding up here for a little bit to get away from the engine fumes. Don't want to get carbon monoxide poisoning. It's so much nicer up here too. So after motoring all day, I finally got a little breeze out of the north, which I was kind of excited. And even though I'm trying to head north, I figured I'd put up the sails and we'd tack. So I had the full sail up. Within 5 minutes, it turned to 25 knots. So I got the third reef in. I'm seeing gusts to 30. This is out of the north, which would be opposing our current. So the seas could get real nasty real quick. I'm keeping an eye on Charleston, maybe trying to divert over there, get out of the way. It's so funny, man. I looked at the weather, yesterday, and it was just like, 2 to 3 knots for the next 3 days. And then I checked the weather again right now, and now it's saying it's going to be 20 knots. It does not look good for being out here in the Gulf Stream. It's just going to be completely countering the current. Looking bad, I tidied up all my ropes in the cockpit. Everything buttoned up in case I need to go back out here. I'm doing the same down here. Getting ready to hunker down. Started to close up all the, at least the windward port lights. So I'm going to get the leeward ones right now. And I got my hatches closed up. So we just need to keep things as dry as possible. Man, I was really looking forward to making a grilled cheese and having a beer. I got the refrigerator cooled off. I guess it'll have to wait until a little bit later. Maybe this was just a squall and it'll pass. We'll see. I do appreciate the wind though. It was no fun motoring all day. Although at least I got my batteries all the way charged back up. How they're doing actually, I'm kind of curious. Yep, 13 volts. So I'm happy I was able to save that one battery. It looked like once I disconnected the bad one, the other one came back. So at least I got one good battery. I'm able to start the motor with it. Everything seems to be good. Oof, I just went outside, get on my light. I heard the jib was flapping around, and the wind I realized the wind vane lines had come undone for somehow, but I sorted it out. Man, it is wet out there. It's definitely getting a little bit nasty, but we're doing okay. The boat's fine. It is pounding a little bit into some of these waves. They're getting kind of close together, but nowhere near as bad as it used to be on the Swedish Fish. This boat is still much more comfortable. I'm just waiting out in my bunk. Man, we're heeled over pretty far. You can hear the waves crashing over the boat every once in a while. I'm completely over it. Just pounding through them. Kind of reminds me of some of the times when I was sailing to Hawaii. Wish I had a little bit less jib up right now. Don't really want to go put more away though. Just a ton of water leaking through there. That's not cool. Let's take a look outside, see what's going on. It's rough up there. I measured 30 knots of wind with my linometer. You can't stay up there too long because you get there's a lot of water comes down, but okay, that was legitimately scary. I went out there, I put away all but maybe a square foot of jib, and I hove the boat too. That was a real challenge. I mean, that took me 15 minutes to get that to work. But I got it done. I mean, the rails are just under the water the whole time. And then I just kind of sit out there and then start looking at the waves. And I mean, they're big, but they weren't like super intimidating. And then I see a 25-foot just foaming wall of water come right towards me. And that is the biggest, that is the worst wave I've ever seen. And the boat just hops right up over it, like no big deal. Didn't even wash over it or anything, but oh my God, that thing was huge. It was just a wall of water. So we're just kind of drift back downwind, again, more towards shore, trying to get out of this pocket of bad weather. I think it could last until tomorrow evening maybe. But I'm okay, I'm safe in my boat. Just made some SpaghettiOs. The fridge is still cold from yesterday. I turned it off overnight because I really want to keep my batteries charged in case I need to run the bilge pump for, you know, something important. Not getting much solar panel power today. Little dripping leak kind of becomes a jet of water when a wave comes all the way over, like a really big one. So that's definitely going to need to be fixed. On Hovis too, I moved the jib to the proper side and I put out another few feet more of jib, so we're moving now at about maybe every 2 knots towards Charleston or maybe Savannah, depending on our drift. Conditions are improving. Winds are just under 20 knots. They shifted a little bit more west though, so I was able to tack, and now we're back right on course to get up to North Carolina. Before it looked like we were going to have to go into South Carolina and maybe go up the ICW, but we're back to the open water approach, and we're doing about 4 knots, so maybe in one more day we'll get there, day and a half. So weird, another boat that's close. What are they doing? It always seems so weird to me when another boat passes within a couple 100 feet of you when you're like 25 miles offshore. I haven't seen any other boats except for like container ships way off in the distance today. But today's been going pretty well. Waves have gone down to pretty much nothing. Winds have lightened up quite a bit too, but we're moving along pretty well now. Having the flatter seas really gets us moving. Maybe the winds are 5 to 7 knots right now. And we're making good progress. Looks like we'll get in sometime tomorrow evening if everything holds up all right. And even if it doesn't hold up, we're within motoring distance, so I'm about to probably just crank on the motor. It's really cooled off. It feels nice. I don't have that sweltering heat down below like I did in Florida. That was one of the things I was looking forward to, have a little bit of a drop in temperature coming up here. But I mean, in August, I'm sure it's going to get pretty hot up here too. But you know, it'll be a little cooler for now. And things are going pretty well. Just been playing my saxophone, reading my books, taking little naps. The wind just moved more on our aft quarter, so I think this will be a good chance to put out the whisker pole. I start by furling up the jib. And then just went forward and put the pole out, and just like that, we got an extra knot of boat speed. And a little bit of roll stabilization as well. This will be the last night of the passage. The stars are looking pretty good out there. I'm starting to be able to see the lights from the from land. Just like the haze of them, I can't make out any individual lights yet. Starting to hear a lot of jets flying over. It's been a pretty fun passage. Lots of stuff's happened. I feel like it was a pretty good shakedown for like a proper ocean cruise, without being too long. It was a good length, it's like 6-7 days, I guess. So hopefully I'll get in tomorrow morning. I'm gonna have to start, you know, putting a watch because I keep seeing these boats get kind of close to me now. So I'll just keep popping my head out every now and then. I don't see any right now, but I'm sure there'll be some more. All right, last day of the trip. I'm not even sure how many days it's been. Water's turned into kind of a gross brown color as I get closer to shore, about 13 miles away. Heading downwind, the wind held up all night pretty much. We did 3 knots, I think. So the autopilot keeps glitching out. I think it's got a bad connection. It just goes out and you gotta reset it every time it loses power, see? What is this thing? So maybe I need to hardwire this thing in there too, and I'll just leave it in that locker. We are coming up on the Cape Fear River, going towards, I think, the town of Southport. I think we'll probably spend a month here before I head my way up to Maine and maybe Nova Scotia if I'm able to get around there. If you can see, my sail pack is definitely seen better days, so maybe I got a bunch of repairs to do, so I'll probably take a while here to do all those. So once we get in, looks like there's an anchorage within a mile, and then another one, then another mile. Unfortunately, it looks like we're coming in against the 2-knot current, so might take us a while to get there, but I know we can power through it. Not really any wind to speak of right now, so I'm just using the motor. Excited to be near land and get some Taco Bell. That current is pretty wild. We are hardly moving. Some brown water. All right, we're making our way into the Cape Fear River. I think I'm gonna anchor just up here, wait for the current to die down, and then I'll head my way up further once it around a little afternoon. So here is where I ended up in Southport, just temporarily at this anchorage. So I dropped the anchor. We're kind of just inside the opening of the river. I wanted to wait for the current to switch around, and I called around and found some marinas. I got one that's gonna be, it sounded like it was about $360 for a month. So I'm gonna keep the boat here for a month while I get some work done. And so now the current switched, so it's like gonna take us up the river. I'm just gonna pull the anchor up and we'll get going. We are sailing up this river. Pontoon boats. We're gonna go under this bridge soon. Got the boat sails are up. Kind of interesting. About 10 feet of water, supposedly. I really like how the sailing is so different everywhere. Like sailing through these like grassy kind of marshlands compared to Florida with the big sweet home Carolina. I feel like I'm riding a bike on the highway with all these power boaters zooming past me. All right, we just pulled up to the dock. Gonna go sign in. They helped me tie up, was really nice. They did a great job. Let's go to the office, register. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate the support I've been getting lately through like Patreon and all the different channels, and some volunteers were helping to get the boat ready to go further north. And it looks like on the 18th we're gonna be going up to Virginia and then through the Chesapeake and working our way, all the way up to Canada if we can do it. If anyone else wants to help out, I guess we're looking for ideas for merchandise. I'm gonna try to start offering that soon. And just sharing the videos on the forum has been really helpful. I think it kind of helps the channel out. So next video, we got some more projects coming up, and then pretty soon we'll have some more sailing adventures. I'll see you guys next time.